and joining me on this live stream. I am in Tema, Ghana, which is just outside of Accra, and I am coming at you doing a quick live stream today after my morning meeting got canceled. So I am at the location where I was supposed to be having my meeting and decided let me do a quick live stream to answer a question that I keep on getting in my DMs. And this is what you need to know before coming to Ghana when you're a first time visitor. So, first of all, before I dive into this, I want to thank the jewelry shop for this custom beaded bracelet, which has this Adinkra symbol, which is the symbol of love. Love always finds its way home. It's my favorite Adinkra symbol. And then it's got Africa here, and this is the beaded bracelet that was beautifully crafted just for me. I really appreciate you. So thank you to the jewelry shop Ghana for this. And then, of course, my watch, Caveman Watches. Caveman Watches is a luxury African watch brand straight out of Ghana. I did interview the owner of this brand, the founder of this brand, a couple of years back on my channel. You can always check that out. So let me dive into this. So this episode is about what you need to know before coming to Ghana if you are a first-time traveler. So first-time travelers, depending on the country you're coming from, you do need a tourist visa to come to Ghana. Tourist visas usually are good for 30 to 60 days, sometimes up to 90 days, depending on the country that you're coming from. So when you're in Ghana, if you are in Ghana for let's say they give you your visa for 60 days and you want to stay longer, then you have to go to the immigration office at the airport to apply for an extension to extend your visa. It's a pretty simple process. There is a fee involved, but you can do that when you want to stay a little bit longer. People who are holding ECOWAS passports from West Africa, the West African states, you can enter Ghana visa free. The amount of time you can stay, there are different rules for different countries. Some of them is up to 90 days that you can stay in Ghana visa free with your ECOWAS passport. So ECOWAS countries are countries like Nigeria, Togo, Benin. So yeah. And if you're a citizen of countries like Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, or Barbados, you do not need a visa to come to Ghana. So I hope that covers that part. And I also want to mention that there are some people who are deciding that they want to move to Ghana. You come in on your tourist visa and you're in the country and you decide you want to stay. What you have to do is you have to renew your visa. I think you have to renew your visa twice, and then you can apply for a residency permit. Okay? Now, for those of you who are in the United States, the Ghana Embassy in Washington, D.C. has been experiencing some serious issues over the last few months that were as a result of fraudulent activity that was discovered. And so now people are finding that they're having challenges with getting their visas in a reasonable amount of time. There is a backup there. So you may want to consider doing your application through the New York office, those of you in the U.S. Now, vaccines. A question that I get oftentimes is about vaccines when coming to Ghana. I think that there's a lot of fear because of during the COVID times, during 2020, 2021, when Ghana was requiring people to have the COVID vaccine at that time because of what was happening globally around the world. But it is no longer required. They removed that in, I believe it was 2022 when they removed that as a requirement. You do not need to have the COVID vaccine to come to Ghana. There is not COVID testing when you arrive in Ghana. There is a requirement of the yellow fever vaccine, for which you would be given a yellow card, which proves that you have been vaccinated for yellow fever. Now, there are some people who have health issues and health reasons why they can't take the vaccine, so you would have to have a medical certificate stating why you are unable to have the yellow fever vaccine. Now, some people, their countries recommend that they take certain medications when they come to Ghana. So, for example, for typhoid for hepatitis A, hepatitis B, and then some people want to take malaria pills because they want to protect themselves from the possibility of getting malaria when they come to Ghana, because malaria is something that you can get through mosquito bites. And depending on the areas you go to, some places have a lot of mosquitoes and some places don't so much. But it's up to you what you decide to do. If you want to get a typhoid shot, if you want to get a hepatitis A, hepatitis B, and if you want to take malaria pills, they are not look at me stuttering. They are not required, but they are recommended by most countries. Their health, ministries and whatnot often recommend that they take these things so that they can protect themselves in case of illness. Now, it's best that you have a return ticket, because immigration officers sometimes ask for you to have a return ticket. They ask if you're coming on a tourist visa, especially. You usually can change your options once you arrive. You can, change your ticket, change the date, whatever it may be, when you change your plans with regards to how long you are choosing to stay in Ghana. But immigration will often ask you to show a return ticket when you're getting your visa to come to Ghana. Now, when you're coming, I always say that you should expect the unexpected when you're coming to Ghana. Sometimes people, you've seen a lot of images and flash about Ghana, and you might not know that there are things that you may arrive to that may be surprising. So there is a little issue we call doomsaw, which is the temporary blackouts that can happen in some areas. But if you're a traveler, most likely you won't experience when the power goes out, because you'll be staying in a hotel, and the hotels usually have a generator which will keep you from experiencing the power outage lasting too long. You might see it go out and then immediately it'll switch, and then the generator comes on and your power comes back. But if you're going into communities, into rural areas, then you might experience that power outage issue in some places. And then there is the challenge at the airport that some people experience when they get there, where there are some people who will say they want a little something, which is not supposed to happen, but there are some staff who will try to get something out of you, whether it's a little bit of money, a little gift, a bribe. They're not supposed to do that. So I usually tell people to just hold steadfast, because you are not required to give anybody anything, because they are supposed to be doing their job and just helping you get through customs and immigration. The other thing is, your Airbnb might not match the polished pictures that you saw online when you were booking it. Airbnb sometimes have great photos, and then when you arrive, it might not look quite the way you were expecting it to look. So that could be something that can surprise you and shock you. So sometimes it's a good idea to ask your Airbnb host to even take a live video of the place so that you can see what it looks like before you book, when you're doing your chats in Airbnb. So that could be something that you could do if you want. So make sure your passport, when you have your checklist before you're coming to Ghana, first-time travelers, make sure your passport is valid for at least 6 months before the expiry date. And make sure you have your Ghana visa secured, and make sure you have your yellow fever card before you arrive in Ghana. So let me just quickly pop into the chats. I have Steve Kelly saying hi. Hello, Steve. Thanks for joining. You said you want to do business in Africa. That's great. Take your time, do your research. Make sure you build network and connections. I have Bob Manuel who says, hello, stranger. What country is this? This is Ghana. I'm in Ghana, West Africa. Michael Matthews, are you in Ghana? Yes, I am in Ghana, West Africa. I'm in the city of Tema at the moment, which is just outside of Accra. It's the city right beside Accra. It's an industrial city. It's about, from Accra Mall, it's like a 15-minute drive on the highway to get to Tema. So that's where I am. All right, so let me get back to what I was going through with respect to what first-time travelers to Ghana need to know. Travel health insurance, if you need health insurance for emergencies, or if you have an ongoing medical condition that you need to see a doctor for, it's a good idea for you to have health insurance. Hospitals here are pay as you go. If you have insurance, it can support the payments that you might need to make. There are government hospitals and there are private hospitals. Usually for visitors to the country, I recommend that you go to the private hospitals because they have a tendency to have better facilities, newer facilities, and newer equipment. So look into that. And then also know that Ghana's emergency medical services are not, they're not the best. And what I mean is there are not enough ambulances to support the number of people in communities. So a lot of times people can't, so the number for the ambulance is, I think it's 191 for emergency. You can call it and you can be waiting forever and not get an ambulance because there are so few ambulances available for emergency services. So a lot of times people end up taking taxis, Ubers, getting someone to drive them to the emergency at the hospital. So keep that in mind for people who may have possible medical emergencies. Back to the comment sections. Michael says, I'm coming next month. I'd like to discuss business opportunities with you. Any kind of business inquiries with respect to me, I always tell people to send me an email. I can't possibly say yes to every request that people ask me about because I get people requesting me every single day. I get multiple requests daily. I can't possibly say yes to every request that people ask for. Everything's have to be in alignment for me. They have to fit into what I'm already doing because I do have a lot of things that I'm doing at the moment. So I don't have the bandwidth to do everything, but I am open to reading whatever proposals people have when they send it to me, my email. My email is info@ivyprosper.com. So info at ivyprosper.com is my email to reach me. Let me see if I can type that into the comment section there. I'm doing this on my phone here, so I'm trying to see where I can type it into the comment section. Perhaps, let me see if I can join the live on my laptop because I'm also here on my laptop. If I join the live on my laptop, maybe I can put my email into the chat. I think that's what I'll do so that if you didn't hear me or if you didn't get me, I can put it in there and then you can see where exactly it is that I'm talking about. So let me go to the chat. Thank you everybody who's joined me this morning. I really appreciate you. So my email is info@ivyprosper.com. I have just put my email into the chat. For anybody who's interested in supporting me and supporting the work that I do, you can always send a tip to me by email through Zelle. My Zelle is info@ivyprosper.com. And support the channel. I'm really trying to expand. My goal is to be able to travel more and show you more travel experiences in Ghana. But of course, that always takes a chunk of financial support to do that. And I would also like to start exploring other African countries, showcase to you some of the opportunities as well as places to visit in other parts of the continent of Africa. So thank you so much for those who've joined. I appreciate you. I have been going through today the things that you need to know as first-time travelers when coming to Ghana. So I hope that those basics that I've shared with you are helpful. They are, as I said in the beginning, making sure you have your visa, making sure that you, if you want to stay, you have to renew your visa when your visa's coming up for renewal, and then apply for residency permit if you're planning on staying in Ghana for an extended period of time. If you're traveling on an ECOWAS passport, which is the Economic West African States, you can come to Ghana visa free, and depending on your country, I think it's up to 90 days you can stay visa free. And if you're a citizen of countries like Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, you don't need a visa to come to Ghana. So make sure you take the time to explore what the rules are for your country that you're coming from when you're coming to visit Ghana. And then, as I mentioned, yellow fever is a vaccination that is required when you're coming to Ghana. You will have to prove with the yellow card that you have been vaccinated for yellow fever. And then other illnesses that sometimes some countries recommend people get when they come to Ghana to prevent: typhoid, hepatitis A, hepatitis B shot, or taking malaria pills to protect yourself from potential mosquito bites. Now, if you decide to live in Ghana, if you decide to stay, malaria pills are something that you can't take for the rest of your life. It is supposed to be temporary, because it's like taking antibiotics. It's not something you should be taking every single day for the rest of your life. So malaria pills are good for temporary trips. And I think that malaria pills can be prescribed for up to 6 months, because I've known of doctors to prescribe them for up to 6 months of people taking, but it's not something that you can be saying you're taking for like 1, 2, 3, 4 years. I haven't taken malaria pills since 20, maybe 2012, 2013. I haven't taken malaria pills. Thank God I've been blessed that I've not gotten malaria, but I do know people who have, and it can be quite a serious illness. If you are in Ghana and you think you have malaria, it's always best to immediately go and get yourself tested and immediately start taking medications for malaria if you think you might have it, because it can be fatal if not treated within a quick amount of time. So yeah. And I hope that that's helpful. This was just supposed to be a quick live stream just to go through that, because I keep getting these same questions in my DMs, and it's easier just to answer it in a video, and then I can always share it with someone who sends me a DM and asks me a question. And for those of you who may just have stumbled upon my channel, I tell stories from Africa and the African diaspora, and I give people, information and advice on moving to Ghana. And I have a book called Your Essential Guide on Moving to Ghana that's available on Amazon. So I have a couple of comments here in the comment section. Let me look at. D Rose says, "Have you bought property there?" I haven't bought a property. I do have land, but I don't have a property that I bought. Where I live is a house that my dad bought, because I was born in Ghana and we left for Canada when I was a toddler. So I live in a house that my dad bought. So it's a family heirloom, you can call it. Yeah, family heirloom. So, but yes, I have land at Prom Prom, which eventually I will build something on, but I haven't made any definite plans as of yet, if that answers your question. And then Ronan says, "Hello, I'm African too. How do you learn English so well? Thank you." Well, I learned it because I didn't grow up in Ghana, but people learn English in Ghana very well too. I was born here, but I was raised in Canada. My parents took me to Canada at a young age. So yeah, that's why I have the accent I have, because I grew up in Canada. Although I am an African woman, I African, Ghanaian, naturalized Canadian citizen. And so now I am in Ghana. So thank you for your question. All right, so that's it for today. I just wanted to do that quick live. I appreciate you. And if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Know that I have memberships available on my channel. The information will all be in the description of this video. So I thank you so much for watching today, and I'll see you next time.